In this tutorial video, I will teach you step by step how to build a monthly visit statistics chart from scratch. You can also display the visit statistics on a weekly basis. This type of chart is typically used when you want to have your visit or traffic statistics available as a chart within the admin panel of your website or web application, allowing you to monitor them. The chart I am building is designed to randomly generate data for the number of visits and visitors. You can further develop this chart by fetching the data from your database via a server and JSON API and visualizing it in the chart. To build the chart, we use Chart.js. Chart.js is a lightweight open-source JavaScript library for creating stunning and interactive charts using HTML5 canvas. It supports various chart types like bar, line, and pie charts, is easy to use, and offers customization options to suit any data visualization needs. Perfect for modern web applications. Well, before we begin, let me show you a preview of the chart we are about to build. This is a line chart. I have customized this chart to a great extent and designed it specifically for dark mode. As you can see, the time function's live, meaning that every time we refresh the page, it updates. I have designed the chart so that with each refresh, new data is generated, which is why its appearance changes every time. Alright, let's start from scratch and design this line chart. Here, I have an HTML and a CSS file. Let me point out some important details. I have added a font via Google Fonts called Roboto Condensed. And this is how I have added the Chart.js library to my web page. In this way, I have created a div with the name chart container in which I will create the canvas for the chart. And this is the canvas where the chart will be drawn. This is the CSS code for the chart container class, which I have defined according to the standards introduced in the Chart.js documentation. In this section, before closing the body tag, I have added two script tags. The code for them will be written later. One for creating the data and the other for building the chart. Okay, to start I create a file named statistics chart so that we can begin building the chart. The first thing I want to define is a general font that will be applied to all elements of the chart. We can do this using an if statement in this manner and by using this specific font command. Note that the font must be loaded on your web page for it to take effect. Okay, now I select the chart element from the DOM, so that in the next step we can ensure that our canvas element exists. In this step, by defining an if statement, I ensure that the program continues only if the canvas element exists on the page. Otherwise, I generate an error that will be displayed in the console if the chart is absent. Now, I get the 2D rendering context. Then, using this command, we build the chart and include all its properties in this section. First, we specify the chart type, which in this case is a line chart. Next, we define the data. For now, I am writing the data manually, and later I will convert it to auto-generated data. Labels are the tags displayed at the bottom of the chart. Here, I define them as the past 7 days plus today, assuming I want to display my website's weekly visit statistics. Yes, as you can see, the labels appear on the x-axis of the chart. Now it's time to define the datasets. I intend to display two types of data, one for visitors and the other for visits. I am defining the number of visitors for each of these 8 days. Okay. Now, I want to define the number of visits. Perfect, this is the fill property we saw and how it works. Fill is a visual property. Alright, now it's time to customize the chart. I customize the appearance of the chart using these appearance-related properties and check the visual state of the chart at each step. I don't think there's anything else to mention for now. Using the point properties, I customize the data points on the chart. Increasing the tension property causes the line for each dataset on the chart to curve. Well, now it's time to add the options. First, using these two properties, I add responsiveness to our chart. Now, using the scales property, I want to customize both the horizontal and vertical axes, in other words, the x and the y-axis. First, I customize the grid of the x-axis. Okay. Now, I assign a title name date for it, which will appear at the bottom of the chart. In this step, I also customize the ticks. The ticks on the x-axis of our chart correspond to the names of the days shown at the bottom of the chart. Good, now I apply the same settings for the vertical axis of the chart, changing the title to hits. Perfect. In this step, I want to improve the chart's UX slightly. The interaction property determines the behavior and reaction of data points on the chart. I set the value index for the mode property and assign the Boolean value false to the intersect property. This causes the nearest data points to automatically gain focus when the mouse hovers over the chart. This makes the user feel at ease and enhances the chart's usability. I notice a visual problem in the chart. Let me resolve it. Yes, in this line, the letter B should be written in uppercase. Alright, now our chart has a better appearance. In this step, I want to create a title at the top of the chart. I intend to replace this text with the actual current date and time when the page is loaded. This group of properties such as title, subtitle, legend, tooltip, etc., must be defined within a property called plugins. Now, it's time to define a subtitle. We add it in this manner. The legend actually represents the dataset labels displayed at the top of the chart. In this way, we can customize them. Excellent, as you can see we have also customized the legend section. Now, it's time for the tooltip, which I want to customize extensively. I want to change the overall color and size of the elements. You too can design your tooltip to your liking using these properties. And then, with callbacks, you can entirely customize the data that is displayed in the tooltip, overriding its default behavior. I accomplish this by defining a single-line function. Let's check how this works. Yes, as you can see, this is how we can change the dynamic labels within the tooltip. Alright, in this step, I want to dynamically generate the date and time and display it at the top of the chart. Since this section is not directly related to our chart drawing tutorial, I speed up the video to keep it engaging. Well, the function is ready. Let's test it in the console. Yes, as you can see, this function returns the date and time in the format that I have defined for it. Now, we only need to replace the previous text with this function. Perfect, as you can see every time we refresh the page the current date and time is loaded. Okay, at this point I can say that our chart is completely ready for use, meaning that you just need to specify the data. You can load it from your database via a server and JSON API. Next, I intend to generate the data logically and randomly for display, so I will proceed to create the data generator script. I define a function that generates a random integer between minimum and maximum in an inclusive range. Very good. I will now use this function to generate numbers for visitors and visits. Now, I write a function that returns the dates for the past 30 days plus today. Yes, as you can see the function works correctly. Now, I define two variables with array values to hold the generated numbers. One for the number of visitors and one for the number of visits. I use a for loop to specify how these numbers are generated and stored in these arrays. I define the number of visitors between 1 and 30 and the number of visits between 30 and 60, ensuring that a logical series of numbers is generated for each. Finally, I define an object named chartData that contains all this data, so that we have everything in one place and can use this object in our chart script. Perfect, as you can see we have all the necessary data within this object called chartData, and we can use it wherever needed. In fact, the data contained in this object is generated dynamically. Okay, now let's move on to using this data within the chart. For better clarity and readability, I define a variable called data and assign the contents of the object to it. Then, in this step, I make all the chart data dynamic. First, I dynamically generate the chart labels, which represent the days of the month. Now, it's time for the visitors and visits. It's time to check the chart. Excellent, as you can see our chart has now successfully switched to a monthly view and also automatically generates the data. Congratulations, you have built a monthly visit statistics chart from scratch using the Chart.js library and customized it extensively. And by changing the number in this part of the code, we can reduce or increase the number of days. Now, you can download the source code from my GitHub, further develop it and use it with confidence. If you found this video helpful or enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up. To stay updated with my latest content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I value your thoughts and feedback, so don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video beneficial.
Because I will not quit, not because I want this. Don't try to stop me now.